We got Talladega DFS. This is going to be a short show. Stack from the back, fade the top 20, and pray. All right, that's the show, guys. We'll see you next week. Guys, welcome to the Edge DFS. My name is Tyson Smith, joined by Sterling Theiss and Ryan Mahle. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Ryan and Sterling. Sterling, you had a decent night last night. You were close to shipping that one. Looked pretty good.
Yeah, I had 5 lineups inside the top 20 and 17 inside the top 100. So we were there, just didn't quite get her done. Still took third, so can't complain.
3K, not too bad. Not too bad at all. What did you guys think about that race last night? That was pretty... I didn't catch the whole thing, but I definitely saw the end. And, I mean, are you expecting something similar for today for the Cup race?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so anyways, because that's how I'm going to be building. So
let's talk about this. If there's anybody new that hasn't done DFS for this particular track, like what do we need to pay attention to? I was kind of joking around in the beginning, but honestly, it's kind of true. Like we're focusing on dudes in the back because of just how many massive wrecks we're going to get potentially. Like, talk to us about what do you think your overall strategy is for this and what we should be doing. We should probably fading a lot of these top owned guys, correct?
Yeah, definitely. It's typically what I end up doing is I'll just not play anybody inside the top 20, and then basically just stack the back and let the optimizers do whatever it's going to do. Crank your randomness and make sure you don't have anybody more than typically I limit it to 25% per driver, and then just whatever it does, it does. You just got to make some groups, and there's not really I can't really sit here and pinpoint each driver because it doesn't matter if they've finished every race or not. They might fucking wreck today, or they might have wrecked every race before and win today. So,
yeah, Ryan, it feels like we're just. I mean, this strategy is completely different than what we typically do. Like, typically we're like, all right, boom, let's get 80% of this guy, let's get 60% of this guy. This is, like you said, crank the randomness, spin the wheel, and pick your lineups that way. It feels like this week, if you do use an optimizer, that almost benefits you in this case, just because, I don't know, hand building might be a little bit difficult, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, we were talking pre-show. Half the time I'll, make a couple dollar lineups and give the random people and say, here, build a lineup on names that look cool to you, or, names that stick out to you, and half the time those do fairly decent. So
yeah, man.
So it's completely random, unfortunately.
So Sterling, how do you want to do this show? You want to talk about SaberSim doesn't have anything up right now. I'm not sure why. I think they're busy with all these, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, all this stuff. So I'm sure that'll come up in the next few hours. But as of right now, do you want to just go down you want to talk about this, this order? Do you want to just go down your breakdown by salary? How do you want to handle this, Sterling?
We can just look at the lineup basically, and we'll just break it down by groups of 10, I guess, top 10, then 11th to 20th, and then so on.
Cool.
Basically, we're definitely not playing anybody inside the top 10, but there are a couple guys we can hit on real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I'll have this up, and then when we get into the breakdown, we'll pull up your breakdown, which, by the way, guys, make sure you're in the Dynasty DNA Discord. That link is attached in the description. Join that. You can get access to Ryan's breakdown, or to Sterling's breakdown in there. And if you've seen that before, it's a huge help. That's my Bible every week going into these races for sure. All right, so let's do it, man. McDowell starting up front, Cindric up front, Kyle Busch is fourth. I mean, is there anybody in the top 10 that you are playing, and anybody up here that might be high owned that you're going to just absolutely go out of your way to not play, or is this just a uncheck all these dudes?
I think me personally, I think I might play Chase Elliott in a couple. I can see Chase Elliott being there at the end. Possibly Busher maybe in one.
Yeah.
Those would be the only two I think inside that top 10 that I would play.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Elliott would definitely be the favorite there. Then Chris Busher, I would not play anybody else, and I would not play those guys together.
Yeah, it looks like Joey Logano is one of the highest projected owns in the top 10. He will be up there at some point, but he is just known for just throwing outrageous blocks and just blocking, and it ends up always taking himself out because he'll just block and then end up getting right hooked or left hooked, and so I'd fade him no matter what.
Yeah, in the next gen era, Joey Logano's best finish at Talladega is 25th. So we're looking at negative points out of him.
Yeah.
How many races has it been since he's won one? Is like, it's up there, right? Logano, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, I think it is up there. I can't remember what it is.
I can't remember when he has won. Like,
I think last year he won it. He won at a super speedway race, but other than that, did he win at a super speedway race?
He hasn't won at Talladega since 2018.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong on that.
So,
but yeah, either way, I think he is on a losing streak. I can't remember the.
He did win Atlanta
last year.
Last spring.
Yeah, I thought he won. I mean, Atlanta's, I guess, not a super speedway, but it races like a super speedway.
Same package.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 10 through 20 here. Anybody jump out that you're willing to sprinkle in?
The biggest guy I like in this range is Bubba Wallace, but seeing him projected for around 15% earned. And I mean, really, inside this top 10 for me, it's just Byron and Bubba Wallace, but I'm most likely not going to have any. I might have like 10 lineups with these guys, but I'm not going to have very much. And the entire top 20, when I do play these guys, I won't have more than one guy starting inside the top 20. I might have a couple lineups that have two, but for the most part, all 6 of my guys are going to come from 21st on back.
So if you're making rules and you want to get some exposure to these guys in the top 10 or the top 20, it's probably, you could start with potentially just limiting that to one. Is that a good starting point and deciding from there?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's get on to the meat here. 20 and back. Most of our builds are going to involve these guys. So who are we looking at here? Who's your favorite kind of... I mean, look, Kyle Larson starting in the back. He had an issue where he couldn't even qualify, right? So they sent his ass directly to the back. He seems like he's going to be high owned, considering he's starting way back there. And we know how good he is. We know that he could win this race. But what are your thoughts on if you're seeing him being 45% owned? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fade, right? I mean, we went all in on him, last week? I think we might be doing the opposite here this week, right?
Definitely, yeah. This is a race that if you see a guy like that's 50% owned or whatever, you're better off just not playing him because he has just as good of a chance as wrecking out as he does driving to the front and being in the winner. So guys like Kyle Larson that are going to be 50% owned, I'm not going to play them.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Because, I mean, it's basically a coin flip whether these guys are even going to finish or not. So
let's briefly just talk about a couple of your favorites here, 20 and back, and then we'll get into the breakdown. We'll pull up your breakdown here. Who are some names we should be focusing on as we move through the show?
I like Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski there starting 22nd. I mean, Blaney's starting 21st. Actually, Hamlin's starting 23rd. Those are guys that at the end of these super speedway races always seem to be there. Justin Haley, Eric Jones, them guys there, kind of in on. Corey LaJoie's been a guy that's always been up there. Ross Chastain and Ricky Stenhouse. Those are guys that are overly aggressive, just like Joey Logano. They're kind of lumped in that they're overly aggressive drivers, which sometimes, is good for them. And sometimes, they end up on the roof. So,
yeah, you're definitely going to see just Chastain and Stenhouse at the front at some point today. But are they going to finish up there is the thing. So there are a couple. Stenhouse, Chastain, and Larson, I'm seeing them as the top 3 highest projected ownership, and I plan on not having any of them just for that reason there. But Ryan Blaney, like he said, he's been one of the best, most consistent at Talladega. He's actually been in the optimal lineup the last 3 Talladega races.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
And it's kind of crazy that we have Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, and Denny Hamlin all starting right here, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I kind of want to group them guys together and set it like 0 to 2, just because I can see all 3 of them definitely being in the winner, but I feel like at some point one of these guys is getting wrecked out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
But I like guys like Chase Briscoe, Eric Jones, Josh Berry, Zane Smith, Corey LaJoy. Wouldn't even mind Carson Hocevar, Cody Ware, BJ McLeod. Like, I'm just looking for these guys starting deeper in the pack that might not be that high owned.
So is there anybody in this range that you're just not interested? Even if they're starting at the back, you're just like, this guy's got no shot. Or is everybody live in this one?
Definitely everybody's live in this one. I mean, you can make an argument for Cody Ware because he's just going to drive around, which is kind of what you want to see, actually. You want these guys to just hang out in the back, let the wrecks happen, and then they just move up by that. But these big name guys, like I said a little bit ago, Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse, Kyle Larson, I'm not playing any of them guys in my main contest build.
So before we get into this breakdown, let's talk about the weather here. So what are you guys seeing on your end? It seems like it's looking better, like we should be able to get this race in, but are there any concerns? Let's talk briefly about, what can this thing get called at a certain point? What is it, halfway through it becomes official? Like, is there any strategy or any thoughts about, well, what if this weather picks up? Does that change anything for you guys when you're building?
Honestly, I don't think it changes anything for me. I'm still going to stay away from the front, even though maybe if it does race to halfway and then they call it, it might be a bad move. But yeah, I mean, most of the time when the crew chiefs and everything know that the weather's coming, most of the time the aggressiveness does kind of kick up. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The weather looks like we should get the whole race in, but if something were to pop up, it's just gonna make these guys get way more aggressive, and that's just hopefully gonna work out in our favor.
Yeah, because this place doesn't have lights, so yeah, I mean, basically they're gonna call it if it goes past halfway and starts raining.
So
they don't.
Sorry, dude. So if anything messes up our strategy, it would be them calling it early, and maybe these teams don't get as aggressive as early, and it just gets called, and some of these dudes up front just end up taking it because we don't get those wrecks at the end of the race. But it seems like we're probably going to be okay. But just keep an eye on that rain. I don't think it's going to change much for me, but you never know. All right, let's get into this breakdown, guys. You want to do it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Break it down. All right. So, like I said, no Saber Sim. We're going to just pull up Sterling's breakdown. Now, how do you want to handle this, guys? I know we've briefly kind of gone through things. Do you want to, Sterling, do you want to just point out a couple of deeper stats, or is it even worth even talking about at this point?
We can just kind of hit on quickly, like Ryan Blaney there. He's starting 21st. His next gen results here are 1st, 2nd, and 11th. So he's by far the most consistent driver here at Talladega. And then he's got 19 career starts, 3 wins, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s, 14 top 20s. So at the very least, we should at least get 30 points out of him. We're looking for more like 50 to 60 out of everybody, but he should be able to keep it clean enough that he doesn't destroy your lineups at the least.
Yeah, Ryan, anything price wise, anything jump out to you? I mean, look, let's just talk about pricing here. We shouldn't be, I mean, we can, but it feels like 7, 8, 9, 10K on the table is in play for this slate, right?
Yeah, what'd they say the optimal lineup yesterday was 41,000?
No, 35.
35,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy
all right.
shit.
So yeah, salaries definitely no. If you have money left over, that's actually good because that means possibly you're different. Because I mean,
I think for my max salary, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm probably gonna set that at like 46,000. So every lineup's gonna have at least 4K left.
Yeah, and let's just talk about there are casuals who are jumping in, playing in the big contest, putting a couple lineups in that they're hand building. If they don't really know the strategy, like I'm sure a lot of people do, but you could get a bunch of maxed out sort of, I wouldn't call them dead lineups. They're just probably not optimal for this race. So it feels like if you cap your salary for this one in the optimizer, you're probably already going to be starting out kind of ahead of the casuals, right?
I agree. Yeah.
All right. So do you, any other drivers you want to talk about here, or do you want to look at some of these, while we're talking about pricing, do you want to talk about any of these previous optimals?
Yeah, we'll go over the previous optimals. Yeah, it looks like the Talladega 2023 race, the highest starting position guy was 10th. So,
which ironically, that was
Ryan Blaney. Yep, exactly. And then the spring race, the only guy starting inside the top 17 was Ryan Blaney, and he was starting 5th. So, like Sterling said, I mean, Ryan Blaney's optimal about every one of these lineups. But yeah, I mean, everybody's starting 10th and back, 15th and back. So, like Sterling said, stack the back, and we just gotta hope that our guys make it through it.
Yeah, the last 3 Talladega optimals have one guy starting inside the top 10. But I mean, I'm not building for the optimal. You don't need the optimal to win at Talladega, so
yeah, you just need the best lineup in your contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because if you're looking 44,000, 44.3, 44.9, we do have one here, spring 2022, that maxed it out. So, like I said, it's possible for one of these builds that max out the salary, obviously, but I think the odds are in our favor if we're leaving some money on the table overall. 49.4, 37,000. Oh, that's Daytona, but similar. Anything else to talk about here on just roster construction and thought? Because we can, talking about individual drivers, it feels like a waste of time almost. More roster construction is key for this race. Anything else to mention?
Not a whole lot. You said hopefully there's just a bunch of maybe beginners that jump into these contests and see the laps led and fast laps, and hopefully they try to stack the front and
yeah, hopefully the green flag drops in the top 20 wreck.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
All right, you want to build a lineup? You want to hand build one?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's hand build some lineups here. So obviously, make sure you guys are in the Dynasty DNA Discord. Make sure you guys jump in the Edge DFS Discord as well. If you guys are into, if you're into UFL, we're doing UFL content. There's definitely some high upside there. Let's hand build a lineup, and then guess what? We're gonna spin the wheel on this show. Let's just spin the wheel. Let's build a lineup like that, and I'm gonna enter that lineup just for fun, just to see kind of where it goes. Yeah. All right. So I know hand building is probably gonna be interesting, but let's start off like where are we going here?
I want to start off with Ryan Blaney, I think.
I like it.
All
And
right.
what do you think? Who's your next guy?
Let's just go all the way to the bottom and get BJ McLeod.
Okay.
I was, we'll do our crown their ass segment and our fade segment after we build this lineup. But I was trying to find photos of BJ McLeod. He looks like the lead singer of like Avenged Sevenfold or something. Like
He does, yeah. Yeah, he does. He always has the backwards hat and yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, who's next? We're just throwing stuff at the wall here, but who else do you like?
Let's go Corey LaJoy, 6,600.
All right.
What do you think, sir?
Plenty of salary.
Then let's go Noah Gregson,
Ooh.
68.
2 spots.
Let's go
Eric Jones.
Eric Jones. Yeah, I'll pick Eric Jones. Let's do it.
All right, 13K. We're going to be able to leave some money on the table.
Who's your last guy, sir?
I already picked 3. You pick one.
All right, I'll pick one. Let's go. You know what? Let's go Brad Keselowski. I feel like this could be one of the races he gets his victory.
Not a bad looking lineup.
I like it.
Blaney, McLeod, LaJoy, Gregson, Jones, Keselowski. All right,
Yeah,
let's do our crown their ass now. Then we'll spin the wheel and we'll build a lineup and then we'll send it off. Let's do crown their ass.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
So, Ryan, you're going Blaney. Sterling, you're going McLeod. McLeod, talk to me about this guy. I'm not too familiar with him, to be honest.
He actually had a charter and then sold that to Spire last season for like $40 million. So now he's never guaranteed. Yeah, he's never guaranteed a starting spot. So he had to qualify in on time, which I think there was only 38 cars, so he would have been fine this week. But basically, he's just an older guy trying to build a team, and he's always stuck out at these tracks because he just hangs out in the back, lets them wreck, and then he moves up. But we seen in the Daytona duels, he had to actually race, and he was damn near won the fucking thing until he ended up wrecking out. But I think he can actually drive to the front when it comes time to. So
yeah, I feel like a good underdog story. He is cool one to follow. Like he races for himself. Like he owns that race team, right? Yeah, he races for himself. I think he has 8 full-time employees or something.
It's not very many.
No, I think they said 8. So I mean, it's kind of a cool story. So
Brian, anything else to add about Blaney here? It feels like he's one of these guys that we could feel relatively comfortable
He's
playing.
just always there at the end. Ford's, always seem to be there. He works well with his teammates. Him and Joey Logano should be up there at some point. And like I said, he's just always there. And actually, a good thing to note, I got on this morning. He is the favorite to win on DraftKings Sportsbooks, and they actually have a 50% boost on one bet. So you can kind of boost them up if you think. I went a little bit more of a long shot. I picked Chase Elliott, but I think Blaney will be there at the end.
All right, let's get into our fade here.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
So Sterling, Stenhouse Jr., Ryan, you're fading Larson. I think across the board, are we just risking it and let's just fade the highest owned dude with Larson?
Yeah, Larson, for some odd reason, he just always has bad luck. I think last year he ended up finishing here. He actually finished, but other than that, he always seems to have bad luck at Daytona and Talladega. He always seems to be caught up in somebody else's accident or something like that. So yeah, seeing him start in the back, he's going to be high owned. I'm just going to stay away from him and hope that, obviously I don't want to see anybody get hurt or anything, but I hate saying I hope he wrecks, but yeah.
Smack the wall.
Yeah, smack the wall enough just to damage the car where you're done for the day.
Or his tire could just come off. How about that?
Yeah, his tire could come off again.
That was gross.
Yeah, that was.
Thoughts on? Look, there's a lot of fades. I mean, we're generally speaking, at minimum, fading the top 10 and probably fading most of the top 20. But why does Stenhouse Jr. stick out to you? Because he's in a good spot, but you're still. Is the ownership high on him?
Yeah, I want to say the second or third highest owned projection that I see, but he's aggressive as hell. He's always been that way. Going whole way back to his sprint car days, he was a record or checker type of guy. So he's going to throw a crazy block, or he's going to just at some point, he's going to do something stupid and wreck half the field. So, like, he might be running first place at some point, and I'm going to be a little nervous when that's taking place, but at some point, he's going to throw it away.
Yeah, I heard it on a podcast this week, and it made a lot of sense. Like, for these guys like the Stenhouse, Logano's, Chastain's, like, it's cool to like to throw a big bet on them to win and hope that they offer a cash out midway through the race. Because at some point Joey Logano is going to be up there. If you can double your money or get over your money back and a cash that out. Stenhouse will probably be up there. Stenhouse will be up there at some point. But
speaking of that, though, I noticed when I looked this morning, anyways, Todd Gilliland was still plus 5,000. So that'd be a good one to get on and look for a cash out. He's starting third.
Yeah. I mean, this guy said that's all he does at Daytona and Talladega. He'll just get on there and just cash out all day. And he said last year he made, I don't even want to guess how much he made, but he said, but I can't remember it. But
that's an interesting strategy. That is.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he didn't hold any bets. He just basically waited for everything to give him the cash out option, and just cashed out all day long.
All right, let's spin the wheel here, guys. Let's do it. All right. So I've got the whole field in here. I don't think there's anybody is there anybody that's not that's in the DraftKings pool that's not actually racing today? I don't think so, right?
No, everybody's in.
All right, let's do this.
All right. Zane Smith.
All right, Zane Smith. Let's remove him.
Right.
Let's do it again.
You got to throw that wheel in your Discord after this if you have a link for it.
Alfredo.
Well, this is going to be different.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
All right, next. Bush.
Okay.
All right, Smith, Alfredo, Bush.
Kyle or no? Chase Briscoe.
Bell.
Okay.
$14,000 left. Last one.
William Byron. All right.
All right, so we got Smith, Alfredo, Bush, Briscoe, Bell, and Byron.
Yeah, I like it. I think Kyle Busch could be a guy that that's starting up there that could be there at the end. I can't
win this a couple years.
He did. He won this last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yep. So he could win it again. It's just one of those. We can't play him in DFS, but I could see him winning it again.
All right. So what'd you guys learn? Anything to leave our viewers with, and any more thoughts on roster construction or anything like that?
Well, the biggest thing is salary does not matter.
Yeah. I can see $5,000-$10,000 being left and being okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, make sure you're in the Discord. Follow these guys on Twitter. And what's next week?
Over. That's a good track for us, I think.
Yeah.
That'll be a high tire wear and high strategy. So
Yeah, we're gonna hammer it over. So
yeah, we'll hammer that one.
All right, guys, we appreciate you. Throw us a like on the way out. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get this to 50 likes. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
yeah.